Hi everyone, my name is Tyra, and I know that there's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot of people are stressing and anxious, and so I just wanted to give a little bit of relief to everyone through this practice. Yeah, we're gonna get started.
So we're going to start at the top of our mats in a seated position. I have my blocks here. I'll show you guys how to use them a couple times throughout the practice. Don't worry if you don't have blocks. No big deal. Just, I know some people love to practice with them, so I have them here. And we're just going to take a moment to settle in. Bringing awareness to the breath. Noticing how you feel. A lot of times we don't check in with ourselves and we don't actually know how we feel. So check in with how the breath feels and how you feel today. You can go ahead and close the eyes if you haven't already done so. Now we're going to begin our 4-part breath. I'm going to ask you to breathe into the belly, the chest, the neck, and the head. And I know you might be like, well, how do I breathe into my head? But through our intentions, we're going to make that possible for ourselves. And beginning, we're going to inhale to the belly, to the chest, to the neck, and to the head. Hold. Exhale from the head, from the neck, from the chest, and from the belly. Hold. Inhale to the belly, to the chest, to the neck, and to the head. Hold. Exhale from the head, from the neck, from the chest, and from the belly. Hold. Inhale to the belly, to the chest, to the neck, and to the head. Hold. Exhale from the head, from the neck, from the chest, and from the belly. Hold. Now, we're going to relax our bodies, relieving any tension that we feel. Turning our attention back inward. A lot of times just in our day-to-day lives, we believe that we have to be on alert and protecting ourselves. Especially now with things going on around the world. We're very looking over our shoulders, and a lot of times when we do that, we forget what's in front of us. We forget that real life is happening. We forget to check in with ourselves and to focus on the sensations that we feel in our bodies and around us in the present moment. So we're just going to take a moment to do that. We're just trying to bring attention to our experience in a wider and more open manner that isn't really involved with selecting or choosing or evaluating, but simply allowing, simply holding. Simply watching our sensations, watching how we feel from one moment to the next. So just focus on how you feel for a moment. How does your body feel? How does your mind feel? And we're going to swing the legs around, coming up to our tabletop. Look down, make sure that your hands are in line with your shoulders, your knees in line with the tailbone. There should be a straight line going from your tailbone all the way up to your head, so look down at your mat. Your neck should be in line with the spine. And we're going to begin with some cat and cow. So you're going to inhale as you drop the belly, curving the spine, dropping to your cow. Exhale as you arch the back, bringing the shoulders away from the ears, dropping the head to the chest, chin to the chest. Arching up to our cat. Inhale, curve the spine under, pulling the chest up to your cow. Exhale, arch the back. Coming back down, bringing that chin to our chest in your cat. One more inhale, back up to cow. And exhale up to cat. Now we're going to release back to center. You're going to bring the big toes to touch, spreading the knees out to about the width of the mat. We're going to sink the hips back as we stretch the arms out forward, bringing our forehead to the mat. This is your child's pose. You can play around with this, maybe flip the palms up, flip the palms back down, stretch the arms out. You can bring the hands back to around your feet, stretching the arms back behind you. Sometimes I like to rest my forehead on my hands or my arm. Just giving yourself options right now. This helps you in connecting the brain to the body. Using your yoga practice to find freedom and authenticity within yourself. And we're going to come back up to tabletop. Swinging the legs around to seated. We're going to bring our feet together like a butterfly. We're going to take our hands to wrap around our feet, bringing our thumbs to the inner arches of our feet. And we're just going to massage up and down on the feet, just giving ourselves some self-love today. And you can begin to hinge forward a little, just going a little deeper into that stretch in the thighs. Now we're going to use our hands as we rise back up from being hinged over, we're going to use our hands to close our knees. We're going to sit on our bottoms, bringing our feet to the mat first, knees pointing up toward the sky. And then we're going to rock back, connecting to our center, lifting the heart, really straightening the back, extending the spine. We're going to bring our knees up to our boat pose. You can bring your hands out, spreading the fingertips apart to the sides. Or you can bring your hands to hold your knees in toward the chest. You can bring your hands somewhere on the mat. Sometimes I like to bring them back behind me. And if you want to take this a little further, you can straighten out the legs. And take a deep inhale together. And exhale as you release the legs down to the mat. Now we're going to pull the legs around, coming to our Sukhasana, our easy pose, or our crisscross applesauce. All of that. And we're going to drop the right hand to the mat. As we inhale, lifting the left hand up, extending the spine, sitting as straight up as possible. And exhale to tip over to the right side of the mat. Just giving ourselves that side stretch. Maybe you want to bring your right forearm all the way down to the mat. And then we're going to bring our gaze to look up at the fingertips of the left hand. And we're going to exhale back up to center. Now we're going to drop the left hand to the mat. Inhaling the right arm up, sitting as straight as possible. And exhale as we tip over to the left side of the mat. Again, bringing the gaze to look up at those fingertips on the right hand this time. And releasing back to center, we're going to swing the hips around, coming up to our tabletop again. And this time we're going to sway back and forth, just moving our hips, wheeling our hips out a little bit. Getting ready to give ourselves some big movement. We're going to tuck the toes under, pulling the hips up and back. We're in our inverted V or our downward dog now. We're going to pedal the heels out here, bringing one heel to the mat at a time. Maybe you want to bend the knees here or bend the elbows a little bit. Just finding a little bit of movement here, whatever that is for you. Or maybe you don't want movement, maybe you're just in it and that's where you're comfortable today. If that is the case, then stay here. And together we're going to take a deep inhale and a long exhale. Another deep inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Deep inhale. Long exhale through the mouth. Now you're going to bring your gaze to look up at your fingertips. And you're going to hop or step or tiptoe forward to let your hands meet your feet or your feet meet your hands in a forward fold. Now here we're going to release, letting go of all of the tension that we're holding in our bodies. allowing the shoulders to drop, allowing the tension in the neck to release. Release the tongue from the top of your mouth. Wiggle the fingertips a lot. Let everything hang. The goal here is to bring your chest as close to your thighs as possible. So if you want to bend the knees here, go ahead and do that. Bend the knees a lot, if that's what you want to do. And now we're going to inhale as we slowly rise up, making our head the last thing to come up. Straightening our arms, coming to our extended mountain pose. We're just going to take a moment to imagine that there's a string pulling your hands all the way up to the sky. That string is also pulling your feet down to the mat. So we're grounded in our feet. Our feet are about hip distance apart. We're going to take a moment to drop the head back. Close the eyes. If the arms are starting to hurt here a little bit, you can bring them down to prayer. You can bring them down out next to you. Come to our Tadasana. We're just going to take a moment to come back to this present moment. Come back inside the body, inside the mind. How do you feel right now in this present moment? Forgetting everything else. When you're ready, we're going to inhale to stretch the arms back, up, coming to our extended mountain pose again. And now we're going to take a lean back, opening the chest up to the sky. Maybe open the arms up to our cactus pose. Stretching out that chest. Awesome. We're going to stretch the arms back up, fingers pointing to the sky. And then we're going to exhale as we hinge forward at the waist. Swan diving, coming down to our forward fold again. Now we're going to halfway lift, bringing our hands to our shins or our thighs, making the back flat like a tabletop. So your back should be flat from your head all the way to your tailbone. Then we're going to release, dropping the hands to the mat. So bend the knees if you need to here. And we're going to walk the feet back to our downward dog or our inverted V. Pausing here to take a few breaths together. We're going to inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And long exhale through the mouth. And on our next inhale, we're going to stretch up that left leg, coming to our 3-leg dog. We're going to flex the foot so the toes of the left foot should be pointed down toward the mat. Use all 10 fingers to grip into the mat. And then we're going to bring the knee in toward the chest. So bring that left knee in toward the nose or the chest, underneath the body. And we're just going to hold it there, hovering above the mat for a moment. And then we're going to plant that foot between our hands. Look down and make sure that your knee isn't going past your toe right now. We don't want to injure ourselves. And if you want to drop that back knee here, you can go for it. If you want to grab your blocks right here, bring them to the sides of you to hold yourself up, you can do that as well. And we know that the inner thighs are not touching, but we're going to squeeze them together, squeeze them inward as if they're touching. As we inhale and raise our torsos up to an upright position. We're going to sweep our arms up and overhead, drawing our tailbone toward the floor. And this is your high crescent lunge. Then you're going to lower your arms, bringing your palms together, coming to prayer. And on our next exhale, we're going to twist the torso to the left, bringing our right elbow to the outside of our left thigh. We're going to press our right arm against our left thigh. Then we're going to turn our gaze to look up at the sky. And on our next inhale, we're going to untwist, bringing our hands back to center to prayer. As we exhale, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Relax here as much as you can in a lunge. And then we're going to inhale to bring our arms overhead, opening the chest up, stretching the back, bringing the arms back to our cactus again. And as you exhale, we're going to swing the arms back, and as if we're scooping up the earth, we're going to sweep our hands down and inhale to come back, opening up the chest. Exhale, release, scooping up the earth again. Inhale, open the chest. And we're going to do one more. Exhale, release, scooping up the earth. And inhale, open up the chest. Now we're going to drop the hands to the mat to frame that foot. And if your knee is up, you're going to drop the knee to the mat. And we're going to step the front knee back, coming to our tabletop. Then we're going to send the hips back, stretching the arms out in front of us, bringing the forehead to the mat, coming to our child's pose again. We're going to take another moment to come back to how we feel right now. Coming back to the present moment. Now we're going to walk our hands over to the right side of the mat, giving our body a side stretch. I'm going to walk them back through center and over to the left side. Now we're going to walk our hands back to center and pull the hips up slowly, coming back to our tabletop. And then we're going to pull the hips up to the sky. We're in our downward dog again. Take a moment here to breathe. And then we're going to inhale, lifting the right leg away from the mat. And you're going to bring your knee in toward the nose. Then you're going to plant that foot on the mat between your hands. Looking down, make sure the knee isn't going past the toes. Dropping that back knee if you would like to do so again, or grabbing the blocks again. And we're going to inhale as we lift the torso, bringing the arms up, fingertips pointing toward the sky. We're in our high or low crescent lunge again. And balancing on the ball of your left foot. We're going to exhale as we twist to the right. Pressing our left arm against our thigh. We're going to draw the right shoulder blade into our back to turn the chest to open to the right. And on your next inhale, you're going to untwist the spine, pulling the torso back up to center. You're going to bring the hands back overhead. And then take that back bend and exhale as you come down and scoop up the earth. Inhale, bring the arms back up, opening the chest, taking that back bend. Exhale, release, scooping up the earth. One more inhale, opening the chest up, stretching the arms back. And as you exhale, scoop up the earth. We're going to come back up to a high crescent lunge. And then on our next exhale, we're going to drop the hands to frame that foot. And pull the hips up to your downward dog. You're going to bring your gaze up to your hands and step or hop forward to meet them in a forward fold. And we're going to inhale to slowly rise up, coming to our extended mountain pose, making sure that our head is the last thing to rise up. Really stretch here. And exhale as you hinge forward at the waist. Forward fold. And we're going to step back to our downward dog. We're going to drop our knees to the mat. And then we're going to lean forward as we drop our chest to the mat. And then the rest of our body. And as we inhale, we're going to lift our chest up and away from the mat, coming to our cobra. Giving our backs a stretch, taking this back bend here. Flipping the tops of the feet so that they're plugged into the mat. And then we're going to pull the hips back up to our tabletop. We're going to pull the chest and the arms up. And then we're going to sit back on the heels. This is our hero's pose. If this is really uncomfortable for your ankles or for your legs, swing the legs around and just come to your easy seat. And then we're going to extend the arms to our sides. And swing your right arm underneath your left arm. Then firmly press your forearms together, lifting your elbows so that they're parallel to the floor. And then we're going to try to press our palms together. These are our eagle arms. Now we're going to release our arms, extending them to the side again. And this time you're going to swing your left arm underneath your right arm. Again, we're going to press the forearms together, then lift the elbows to about parallel to the floor. Then we're going to press the palms together. And we're going to release the arms. Now we're going to stretch the legs out in front of us. We're going to inhale, stretch the arms up, extending the spine. And we're going to exhale as we hinge forward over our legs, coming to a seated forward fold. Just allowing gravity to pull us closer, to pull our chest down closer to the earth on each exhale. Releasing the tension in the neck, letting the head hang loose. And we're going to inhale to release. Now we're going to bring the feet to the mat, knees pointing up toward the sky. Look back and make sure that there's enough room behind you because we're going to lie down on our backs. First, we're going to straighten our arms out to the sides of our legs, sides of our thighs, sides of our knees. And with control, we're going to lower to lie down on our backs. If you have a block here, you may want to lie it right beneath the shoulder blades. It'll kind of help to open up the chest. I'll show you. Or if you want to grab a pillow, if you want to grab a blanket here, whatever will make this more comfortable for you. Our feet are still on the mat, knees still pointing up toward the sky. We're going to hug in our knees toward our chest. Then we're going to rock from side to side and up and down or back and forth, just massaging the lower spine. If you want to bring the neck in, bring the neck up, the head toward the chest, the chin toward the chest, you can go for this. And now we're going to release, dropping the feet back down to the mat. And then we're going to bring the soles of our feet together as we let our knees relax open to the sides. Placing our arms comfortably somewhere on our sides with the palms facing up. And we're just going to breathe into this reclined goddess posture. And now we're going to release our legs back to center, so you can use your hands to bring your knees or your thighs back together and then straighten them down, coming to a comfortable position.
You can lie there for as long as you want, as long as necessary for you. Just remembering 3 things. Number 1, to always check in with the breath. We can't control a lot around us, but one thing we can control is ourselves. We can control our breath, and through controlling our breath, we can calm ourselves down. Number 2 being to always check in with the mind and the spirit. Always know what feelings belong to you and what feelings are of the outside world, what feelings are of other people's anxieties. And this is a good way to aid in calming down and getting rid of some of the stress that you hold. And number 3 is to always check in with the body, feeling the sensations that belong to you, kind of like when you do, feeling the sensations of the body. Sometimes you just need to slow down, sometimes you need to rest, and it's when you do yoga and when you take time to pay attention to the body that you really figure this out for yourself. Thank you all so much for practicing with me. I hope that this aids in some of the anxieties that everyone is having. Namaste means that the light in me acknowledges the light in all of you. Namaste.